Welcome to Pigeon Healthy. Imagine walking into your loft and finding one of your best birds unable to fly properly, stumbling, head tilted at a strange angle, eyes unfocused. You panic. Is it a stroke? A head injury? Neurological disease? You rush to the vet, spend hundreds on tests, and nothing shows up. The bird gets worse. Within days it can barely stand. It's terrified, disoriented, and slowly dying. Then someone suggests a simple vitamin supplement. You give it, not really believing it will help. Within 24 hours, the bird improves. Within 48 hours, it's almost completely recovered. Within a week, it's back to normal, flying, eating, healthy. What just happened? You witnessed a severe vitamin deficiency being reversed. Specifically, a thiamine or vitamin B1 deficiency, though it could also be vitamin E, selenium, or other critical nutrients. These deficiencies cause dramatic neurological symptoms that look like serious disease but are actually just nutritional gaps that can be fixed almost instantly with the right supplement. Today I'm going to teach you about the most important vitamin and mineral deficiencies in pigeons, how to recognize them, what causes them, and most importantly, how to prevent and treat them. This information will save birds that would otherwise die from what looks like mysterious illness but is really just malnutrition. Let's start with thiamine vitamin B1, because thiamine deficiency causes some of the most dramatic and terrifying symptoms. Thiamine is essential for nerve function and energy metabolism. Without adequate thiamine, the nervous system malfunctions. In pigeons, thiamine deficiency causes a condition called stargazing or opisthotonos. The bird's head tilts backward, sometimes so far the head touches the back. The bird can't control this. It's not a choice. The muscles controlling neck position are spasming due to nerve malfunction. Other symptoms include loss of balance and coordination. The bird stumbles, falls, can't perch properly. Tremors or seizures, the whole body may shake uncontrollably. Wing paralysis, one or both wings droop and can't be moved. Blindness or vision problems, the bird doesn't react to visual stimuli. Inability to eat or drink because the bird can't control head position. Rapid weight loss and death within days to weeks if untreated. These symptoms are terrifying to witness, and most keepers assume the bird has suffered trauma, has a brain tumor, or has contracted some deadly disease. But it's often just thiamine deficiency, and it's reversible. What causes thiamine deficiency? The most common cause is feeding a diet heavy in polished white rice or certain grains that are thiamine-poor. Some seeds contain thiaminase, an enzyme that destroys thiamine. Raw fish contains high levels of thiaminase, which is why feeding raw fish to pigeons causes thiamine deficiency, but pigeons rarely eat fish. More relevant is that some molds and bacteria produce thiaminase. Moldy feed can destroy the thiamine content. Stress increases thiamine requirements. Birds under heavy stress, racing, breeding, illness, need more thiamine than normal. If dietary intake doesn't increase, deficiency develops. Certain medications, particularly sulfa drugs used to treat coccidiosis, can interfere with thiamine absorption or utilization. Prolonged use of these drugs without thiamine supplementation can cause deficiency. Genetics plays a role. Some birds have higher thiamine requirements than others and are more prone to deficiency on borderline diets. Treatment for thiamine deficiency is simple and dramatic. Injectable thiamine vitamin B1, given by intramuscular injection, works fastest. The dose for a pigeon is approximately 10 to 20 milligrams per bird. You'll see improvement within hours, sometimes within 30 minutes. The bird will start to regain head control, balance improves, tremors decrease. By 24 hours the bird looks much better. By 48 hours it's often nearly normal. Oral thiamine also works but takes longer. Thiamine tablets or powder can be given directly into the beak or added to food. High-dose B-complex vitamins containing thiamine can be added to drinking water. The whole flock should be treated if one bird shows deficiency because others are likely borderline. Prevention involves feeding a varied, high-quality diet that includes whole grains, not just polished rice. Ensure feed is fresh and mold-free. Moldy feed destroys vitamins. Add brewer's yeast to feed regularly. Brewer's yeast is rich in B vitamins including thiamine. During high-stress times like racing or breeding, supplement with B-complex vitamins and water. If using sulfa drugs for extended periods, add B vitamins concurrently. Now let's talk about vitamin E and selenium deficiency. These two nutrients work together, so deficiency often involves both. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that protects cell membranes, particularly in muscles and nerves. Selenium is a mineral that's part of antioxidant enzymes. Together they prevent oxidative damage. Deficiency causes a condition called nutritional muscular dystrophy or white muscle disease. In pigeons, symptoms include muscle weakness, especially in legs and wings. The bird can't fly properly or stand well. Muscle tremors or spasms. Poor exercise tolerance. Birds tire quickly during training or racing. Fertility problems in breeding birds. Poor egg production, weak squabs. Sudden death, particularly in young birds, from heart muscle damage. In severe cases, neurological symptoms appear similar to thiamine deficiency, head tilting, lack of coordination, seizures. This is because vitamin E protects nerve tissue from oxidative damage. What causes vitamin E and selenium deficiency? Feeding old or rancidly stored feed. Vitamin E is destroyed by heat, light, and oxygen. Feed stored for months, especially in hot conditions, loses vitamin E content. Diets low in quality fats and oils. Vitamin E is found in seed oils, particularly wheat germ oil, sunflower seeds, and other oily seeds. Diets heavy in corn and wheat without oily seeds are vitamin E deficient. Selenium deficiency occurs when feed is grown in selenium-poor soils. Some geographic regions have naturally low selenium in soil, so grains grown there are selenium deficient. High stress and increased metabolic demands burn through antioxidants like vitamin E faster. Racing birds in hard training can develop deficiency if intake doesn't match demand. Treatment involves giving vitamin E and selenium supplements. Vitamin E can be given orally. You can buy vitamin E capsules for humans, puncture them, and give the oil directly into the bird's beak. The dose is approximately 10 to 50 international units per bird, once daily for a week, then twice weekly for maintenance. Selenium can be added to feed or water. Commercial selenium supplements for poultry work for pigeons. Follow label directions, but generally a small amount added to water or feed once weekly is sufficient. Don't overdose selenium. It's toxic at high levels. Injectable vitamin E and selenium combinations are available from vets and work very fast for acute deficiency, similar to thiamine injections. Prevention involves feeding fresh, properly stored feed. Don't buy more feed than you'll use in 2 to 3 months. Store in cool, dark, dry conditions to preserve vitamin E. Include oily seeds in the diet regularly. Sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, and wheat germ are excellent vitamin E sources. Offer these at least twice weekly. Add wheat germ oil to feed occasionally, particularly during breeding season or hard training. This boosts vitamin E intake. Use a selenium supplement if you're in a selenium-poor region. Your local agricultural extension can tell you if your area is selenium deficient. Avoid feeding rancid or bad-smelling feed. Rancidity means the fats have oxidized, which destroys vitamin E and creates harmful free radicals. Next, let's discuss calcium and vitamin D deficiency. These work together because vitamin D is required for calcium absorption. Calcium is essential for bones, eggshell formation, muscle contraction, nerve function, and blood clotting. Vitamin D regulates calcium and phosphorus metabolism. Deficiency causes rickets in young birds, which manifests as soft, deformed bones, particularly in the legs and keel. Birds walk awkwardly with bowed legs. The keel bone may be twisted or bent. Growth is stunted. In laying hens, calcium deficiency causes soft-shelled or shell-less eggs. The hen strains to lay, but the egg is rubbery and collapses. This can lead to egg binding and death. Muscle weakness and tetany occur in severe deficiency. Muscles need calcium to contract properly. Low calcium causes tremors, spasms, and seizures. Sudden death from heart failure can occur because the heart is a muscle dependent on calcium. Feather problems develop. Feathers are brittle, deformed, or fail to grow properly. What causes calcium and vitamin D deficiency? Inadequate calcium in the diet. If birds don't have access to grit, oyster shell, or mineral blocks, they can't get enough calcium, especially breeding hens producing eggs. Lack of vitamin D. Birds synthesize vitamin D from sunlight exposure. Indoor birds with no access to natural sunlight are at high risk for vitamin D deficiency even if dietary calcium is adequate. Imbalanced calcium to phosphorus ratio. Too much phosphorus relative to calcium prevents calcium absorption. Grains are naturally high in phosphorus and low in calcium, so a grain-only diet causes imbalance. Kidney or liver disease interferes with vitamin D metabolism. Sick birds may become calcium deficient even with adequate dietary intake. Treatment for acute deficiency involves calcium supplementation. Liquid calcium supplements can be given orally. Crushed oyster shell or calcium carbonate powder mixed with a little water and given by syringe. Vitamin D can be given orally or via injection. Vitamin D3 is the active form. Dosing should be done carefully because too much vitamin D is toxic. Follow vet guidance. 4 laying hens with soft eggs. Provide oyster shell-free choice and add calcium to drinking water or directly to the hen daily until egg shells normalize. Prevention is straightforward. Provide free choice calcium sources at all times. Oyster shell, cuttlebone, calcium grit, or mineral blocks should be available in every loft. Ensure birds have access to natural sunlight or full-spectrum UV lighting. Even a few hours a week of direct sun exposure provides adequate vitamin D. Feed a balanced diet that includes calcium-rich sources. Some seeds like sesame have decent calcium. Feed a proper mineral mix alongside seed. For breeding hens, increase calcium supplementation before and during egg laying. Some keepers give extra crushed oyster shell daily to laying hens. Now let's discuss vitamin A deficiency. Vitamin A is essential for vision, immune function, respiratory health, and feather quality. Deficiency causes night blindness. Birds can't see well in low light. They're hesitant to move at dusk or in dim lofts. Respiratory problems develop because vitamin A maintains the mucous membranes lining the respiratory tract. Deficiency causes these membranes to dry out and crack, allowing infections to establish. Birds become prone to sinusitis, respiratory infections, and abscesses around the eyes. Eye problems are common. Swollen eyelids, discharge, crusty deposits around eyes, and eventually blindness in severe cases. Poor feather quality results. Feathers are dull, brittle, and prone to breakage. Slow growth and poor weight gain occur in young birds. Increased susceptibility to all infections happens because vitamin A is critical for immune function. Deficient birds catch everything. What causes vitamin A deficiency? Diets lacking in green vegetables, yellow vegetables, or beta-carotene sources. Pigeons synthesize vitamin A from beta-carotene found in greens and yellow-orange veggies. Prolonged feeding of seed-only diets with no greens causes deficiency. Chronic diarrhea or intestinal disease prevents vitamin A absorption even if dietary intake is adequate. Liver disease impairs vitamin A storage and metabolism. Treatment involves vitamin A supplementation. Cod liver oil is a traditional source of vitamin A and D. A few drops per bird can be given orally. Commercial vitamin A supplements can be added to water or feed. Provide fresh greens like lettuce, spinach, kale, or dandelion greens daily during treatment. These provide beta-carotene. Improvement takes a few days to weeks depending on severity. Prevention requires offering greens regularly. Fresh vegetables or grass should be part of the diet year-round. Many keepers forget this and feed only seeds. Feed a varied diet including yellow corn, which contains beta-carotene. Add a multivitamin supplement to water once or twice weekly, particularly during stressful times. Ensure gut health. Birds with healthy digestive systems absorb vitamins properly. Treat any chronic diarrhea or intestinal parasites. Let me share a case that illustrates the power of recognizing and treating vitamin deficiency. A keeper contacted me about a racing hen that had suddenly developed severe head tilt and couldn't fly. The bird was a proven racer worth significant money. The keeper took her to a vet who ran blood tests and found nothing definitive. The vet suggested possible stroke or inner ear infection and prescribed antibiotics. After a week on antibiotics, the bird was worse, barely able to stand, not eating. I visited and watched the bird. The head tilt, the tremors, the inability to coordinate movements, it looked exactly like thiamine deficiency. I asked about diet. The keeper had recently switched to a new feed mix that was heavily rice-based. That was the red flag. I brought Injectable B-complex vitamins and gave the bird an injection containing 20 milligrams of thiamine. I also added high-dose B vitamins to the drinking water for the whole flock. Within 6 hours, the hen's head tilt decreased. She started eating. By the next day, she was walking normally. By day 3, she was flying. Within 2 weeks, she was back in training. All she needed was thiamine. The new feed had caused deficiency, the stress of racing had accelerated it, and the antibiotics had done nothing because it wasn't an infection. The keeper was amazed and angry that the vet hadn't considered nutritional deficiency. But many vets aren't trained in avian nutrition. They test for disease, and when tests are negative, they're stumped. Recognizing nutritional deficiency requires understanding the bird's diet and the symptoms specific to each deficiency. Another case involved a breeding loft where squabs kept dying at 2 to 3 weeks old. They'd develop tremors, go limp, and die. The breeder thought it was a virus. I examined dead squabs and noticed the breast muscles were pale, almost white, instead of the normal deep red. That's the signature of white muscle disease, vitamin E and selenium deficiency. I tested the feed and it was old, stored for over a year in a hot shed. The vitamin E was completely degraded. We switched to fresh feed, added wheat germ oil, and gave selenium supplements to breeding pairs so they'd pass it to squabs through feeding. The next round of squabs grew normally. No more deaths. It was just feed quality causing vitamin E deficiency, and it was killing squabs. Once corrected, problem solved. These cases are not rare. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies are extremely common in pigeon lofts, but they're underdiagnosed because the symptoms mimic diseases and most keepers don't think about nutrition. Here's a practical approach to preventing deficiencies in your loft. Feed a varied, high-quality diet with multiple seed types including oily seeds like sunflower, hemp, and flax for vitamin E, greens or vegetables offered several times weekly for vitamin A and other nutrients, fresh, properly stored feed to preserve vitamin content. Provide free choice minerals including oyster shell or calcium source, mineral grit with trace minerals, and a salt or mineral block if desired. Supplement strategically during high demand times. During breeding, add vitamin E, calcium, and B vitamins. During racing, add B vitamins for energy and stress support. During molt, add B vitamins and protein for feather growth. Use a good quality avian multivitamin in drinking water once or twice per week year-round. This provides insurance against deficiencies. Ensure sunlight exposure. Birds need UV light for vitamin D. If your loft is entirely indoors, use full-spectrum lighting designed for birds. Monitor for early signs of deficiency. Subtle symptoms like slightly poor feather quality, reduced performance, minor coordination issues, these may indicate borderline deficiency before it becomes severe. Have supplements on hand. Keep injectable B vitamins, vitamin E capsules, calcium supplements, and a good multivitamin in your pigeon medicine kit. When deficiency symptoms appear, you can treat immediately. One more critical point. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies often occur together. A bird deficient in one nutrient is often deficient in several because the underlying cause, poor diet, affects multiple nutrients. So when you see deficiency symptoms, don't just treat the one obvious deficiency. Provide a comprehensive supplement program and improve the base diet. Fix the root cause, not just the symptom. Deficiencies are entirely preventable. There's no excuse for a bird to go blind from vitamin A deficiency or develop seizures from thiamine deficiency in a well-managed loft. But it requires attention to nutrition, not just filling the feeder with whatever seed is cheapest. If you currently have a bird showing neurological symptoms, head tilt, seizures, weakness, blindness, don't assume it's a disease. Consider vitamin deficiency. Try high-dose B vitamins and vitamin E immediately. If the bird improves dramatically within 1 to 2 days, you've confirmed deficiency and saved the bird's life. If there's no improvement, then pursue other diagnoses. But always consider nutrition first because the treatment is cheap, safe, and if it's the problem, it works almost miraculously. Your action plan is this. Assess your current diet and supplementation. Are you providing varied seeds, greens, and minerals? Are you using fresh feed? Do you supplement vitamins? If not, start immediately. Stock your emergency kit with supplements. Get injectable B vitamins, vitamin E, calcium, and a multivitamin. Watch your birds closely for subtle deficiency signs. If you see symptoms, treat aggressively and fast. And educate yourself about nutrition. Understand what vitamins and minerals do and what deficiency looks like. Nutritional deficiency is one of the most overlooked and easily preventable problems in pigeon keeping. Birds suffer and die from lack of nutrients that cost pennies to provide. Don't let your birds be victims of malnutrition. Feed them properly, supplement strategically, and they'll thrive. If this video opened your eyes to the importance of vitamins and minerals, please share it. Many keepers lose birds to deficiencies without ever realizing what killed them. Your sharing could save lives. Comment if you've dealt with vitamin deficiency in your birds. And subscribe to Pigeon Healthy for practical, life-saving information. Thank you for watching. Feed complete nutrition and watch your birds thrive.